My name is William Goit. I'm a licensed acupuncturist who's been helping people get healthy and stay healthy since 1986. You may know me as Professor Qi. Today, I want to talk to you about Qigong, about Solar Qigong. Solar Qigong is my interpretation of the Gong chapters of the Temple Style Tai Chi. Now, Temple Style Tai Chi is different than the public form of Tai Chi that you see people doing in the park, in that it's what's practiced in the temple. It is the internal part of Tai Chi. It is the mind training, the part of the Tai Chi system where we look inside of ourselves and follow internal Qi circulations while we're practicing. Normally, in Tai Chi, the public form of Tai Chi, you go from one form and then it moves into the next form, and that form moves into the next form, and it's a bit like a dance. In Temple Style or Solar Qigong, we do each form repetitively. The forms look very similar to what you see in public style of Tai Chi, but there are some differences. And each form is done over and over and over again with an emphasis and focus on the internal Qi circulations. That way is very different result than just moving through the form. There's a specific way of breathing as well. So each time we do the movement, we're breathing in a certain way, and our mind is following a very specific internal Qi circulation. There's anatomical landmarks that I coach you with as I'm teaching you, and I teach this on video at solarqigong.com, where you can keep track of where your mind should be. So initially, I teach you the forms, and the forms are relatively simple. They're not difficult. In public form, the public style of Tai Chi, the way the form is done is very important. Your foot has to be in exactly a certain place. Your hand has to be exactly in a certain place. In the Temple Style, the focus is internal. So the forms are simplified and condensed. So many of the forms look like shorter versions of the public form because they're condensed, because we've condensed our awareness inside, internally. So each of the forms are a smaller version of it. And one of the tenets is that the smaller the movement, the greater the flow of energy. So we want smaller movements with a bigger movement of Qi inside. As I'm teaching you, well, the first thing I'll teach you is how to breathe, then how to do the forms, and then I coach you along and you practice with me. So while we're practicing together, I coach you over and over and over of where your mind needs to be. And I use very specific spots on the body. For instance, it'll be the left heel, the dantian, which is right below the navel, and then out the right hand, just as an example. Or we're sucking into the palms and the forearms, or we're blowing out the third eye. When you know where your mind should be, and then you become familiar with the Qi circulation, it just takes a little reminder. And it's very easy to forget. This is the reason why this form of Tai Chi is easy to teach on video, because all you have to learn is the simple form, which, like I said, is not hard to learn. And then you practice with me and I coach you along. So I tell you over and over and over exactly where your mind should be. The result of practicing Solar Qigong is incredibly dynamic. It's very different than what happens when you practice Tai Chi. Normal Tai Chi is about building a Tai Chi body, becoming graceful, learning to be grounded, and attracting Qi in a rather passive way. When you use your mind and you follow Qi circulations that are inside of the body, the Qi becomes more internal, because where our focus is, energy goes. We all know this. Whatever you're focusing at, that is where your energy goes. If you're focusing on studying, all your chi, all your energy is there on that book as you're studying. When you're focusing on cooking, all your chi is in the act of cooking. Similarly, when we're focusing internally and we're paying attention to internal chi flows, that's where the energy goes. And it begins as imagination. Like everything in this life begins as imagination. And then as we believe it and we focus more fully, it becomes a reality. Particularly around energy, because energy really wants to have a relationship with you. Everything in life is made out of energy. And when we start to focus on the beginning of life, which is energy, then that energy starts to come alive. And it comes alive in a very interesting way. We feel it in the body as a kind of a heat and of a feeling of well-being as it passes through us. But because it is energy moving in the body, it creates a kind of very subtle emotion that feels like inspiration, enthusiasm, and excitement. And inspiration, enthusiasm, and excitement develops willpower. Because when you're inspired and you're enthusiastic and excited, you go after things. New ideas come to you. And we become more energetic in a way that breeds a new appreciation for life. This is all done through the breath. Long, slow, even breathing cultivates energy. And then when we start to move it across the 8 planes of the body, up, down, left, right, diagonal, in and out, then the whole body becomes infused with new life, with new energy. This is the power of Solar Qigong, is to get energy into every little aspect of your body, to have you become aware of the internal movement of energy in your body. And as you become aware of internal energy, you start to identify with this energy. Every day you practice and you start to feel this feeling more and more, this energetic feeling, and it starts to feel like you. It's just like how it works when you identify with who you are. For instance, you get a new job and at first it feels very foreign. And then let's say you're a foreman at a construction site. And the more you do it, the more you start feeling like the construction foreman. That identification becomes you. And we do this all through our life. When you're a little kid, you identify with being a little kid that's growing up. Then you're a student, you identify with being a student. When we practice Solar Qigong, we learn to identify with energy. And everything is energy, so you learn to identify with the potential for new life, for new inspiration and enthusiasm and excitement that creates a new kind of life where every day becomes exciting and a new kind of creation. Because creation is energy. And oftentimes we don't really think about our own creation because we're so busy copying everybody else. But when you start to really manifest internal chi, you will start to see things as your own, because chi is new. New energy, fresh energy that are waves of energy, and these waves of energy will gladly become whatever particles you wish them to be. So when we develop this reservoir of vitality and energy that is waves of energy that we learn to store into the bones and the spine, we can project that out, that new energy out into the world, and it can become what we want it to become. Now, this isn't magic. It's not like there's a new car or something like that. It's more focus. It's a matter of focus and focusing and believing what you're feeling and doing it repetitively. And as we practice day after day, you will become a different kind of person, because you'll start to realize that, oh my goodness, this feeling I'm feeling deep in the core of myself is who I am. This is where I'm actually coming from. Deep in the center of my spine, this energy is moving out into the five senses and is creating the world around me. And the more we learn to identify with this energy deep inside of ourselves, then we can direct in a co-creative kind of way the way our life is going to unfold. I implore you to go to solarqigong.com. Take my easy to follow video lessons for only $11.11 a month, and you too can start to follow Qi inside of yourself and find a way to direct your life the way you want it to come out.